Hey, Jay here. We got one of the most anticipated, exciting new bikes for 2018, and that's the TPI fuel-injected two-strokes. So for KTM this year, the only one they have in the US for us is this 250 XCW TPI. And so I think it's the only fuel-injected two-stroke that's available to the market in masses for a trail bike. There's been some trials bikes with it. This is the first one that's readily available. This thing's really cool as far as the technology for the fuel injection, and we've been riding it a bit already, and it seems really good so far. We're going to have it out in the trail for a couple more times and give a report back. It is on an XCW platform, so you get the headlight stock, the readout for your odometer and tripometer, all that kind of stuff. You have all those goodies. It does come with the Explorer fork and no linkage in the rear. That's the XCW kind of platform. So it's not, there's no XC models, you know, with a linkage and the new AER 48 air forks. So you don't get that as an option right now. So, and you know, you can't get a straight answer out of KTM to know if that's a year, 2 or 3 away. So somewhere in there, then we'll see this technology on the more aggressive trail bikes. So really cool bike. We're going to spend a little time on this thing and let you know what we think of it, and also we can kind of compare it to our XCs and let you know. So starting seems really good on this thing, really easy. There's where you fill up the oil. We always got to do the field test a few times to get started. Whoa! Got plenty right off the bottom. Pretty peppy. So now we're gonna go check it on the trail against an XC. Okay, so now we've got a couple good rides on this XCW TPI bike. I want to talk a few things before we give you our total opinion. Spencer and I have both been riding this thing. TPI stands for transfer port injection. So the actual, you don't mix your gas. The fuel comes around into the transfer port. It gets mixed. All your oil goes in the tank here inside the frame. And that can last, from what I understand, at least 3 tanks. You have a light that'll tell you, hey, it's time to add some oil. So you can put a lot of miles on it, and you just put straight gas in the tank and your premix here. One of the things we noticed is it starts up really easy cold. It's hot as well, but cold starts up real easy. We never even choked it, just started it. Hardly any smoke. You know, you start a two-stroke, even if you turn the choke off right away, you get a bunch of smoke first thing. Hardly any smoke. And at the tailpipe, nothing. No ooze coming out. Even with our well-jetted bikes, any carburetor we have, we still get some ooze coming out of the tailpipe. No ooze out of the tailpipe at all. And even when it's all plenty warmed up, there's hardly ever any smoke. It's really not much smoke. So the thing, the jetting we'll call it, but the mapping, when they map these things, they're able to get it really well. I've heard these things get down to like 100 to 1 at certain little RPM ranges and idling, and then it'll richen it up as it goes. So some really cool stuff. We know the bike can perform because Cody Webb just won the King of the Motos on this thing, which is a really gnarly race for those that don't know, out in the desert. You should check out some videos of it. They have some tough navigation. They had night parts. and then 3 segments, and he won all 3 segments on this bike. Of course, he's got some modified suspension and different things, but regardless, he was still on the TPI bike, so pretty impressive. For us so far, we like the bike a lot. We think it's amazing. There's lots of really cool traits that it has. Like it has just tons of real quick little bottom end, but then right after that, it can be a little bit quirky. Because of the mapping relationship to the power valve opening, there can be some weird things kind of feeling there. More wide open, the thing feels really good. Like on the more wide open stuff, it feels really good. I think in the tighter stuff, we still prefer the XC. The suspension on this bike's really plush stock, and we know that we can make this suspension work, but stock versus stock, we think we like the air fork on the XC type models better than the Explorer fork. Now, that's not to say you can't make these work as well, it's just saying stock for stock, I think I like the air fork better, the AER 48. I think we like that fork better. Also, I don't know if it's in our head, but we like the linkage better. Again, Cody Webb, racing tons of off-road, always runs no link. He doesn't run a linkage, so it obviously works just fine for him. That said, we don't have any time frame. I'm assuming they're going to sell every one of these bikes that they get. Personally, right now, today, I think these bikes, these XCW TPI bikes, are more suited for those that are more of an XCW type rider. KTM guys know who they are, guys who are okay with that XCW. The transmission can be a bit different feeling with that wide ratio transmission, so that's something I think you want to watch out for. If you're an XC type guy, you want the most performance, let's say, I think you're going to be happy with your, XC 1718 bike until they come out with this TPI in an XC, which I think could be anywhere from 1 to 3 years. Hard to say, we don't know. But overall, totally impressed. I think it's going to be the future of two-strokes, without a doubt. It's going to be the future, and I was really surprised at how well it performed, especially wide open. I'd always been kind of convinced that they wouldn't be able to make this as fast or as rideable, say, for a off-road XC or an SX motocross type application, and I think they will be able to. So we'll just have to wait and see how far it goes. But I don't think you can go wrong with this bike if you get one, and I think you're going to be at the leading edge of technology. One of the really cool things that KTM does that some of the Japanese manufacturers don't is they will actually make updates. They'll have new maps, and so you can go into your KTM dealer and they'll load a new map for you. I don't know if it's because the Japanese manufacturers don't want to admit that they got that there's something better than what you have, but KTM's real good about that. So there is the newest map in this bike, and it does seem, from what I can tell, better than the one we tested a few weeks back. So that's a nice feature that KTM does, and their KTM dealers all have the tuning tool to be able to load you up with the new map. So that's a really cool feature from KTM. Good customer service that they're able to do that. I can't think of anything else. The bike is, like I said, really good. I don't think you'll go wrong with it. I think for us, we're probably going to wait and stick with our XC300s. And I think that extra 50 cc's is good for, especially for me here, but also for the big, sandhill climbs we do and different things. I think we're going to wait till this TPI comes out on an XC300 for us. And I think, again, for those riders that are good with an XCW, I think they're going to love this bike. So enjoy, and hopefully we'll see you out in the trail.